This story happened back when I was a kid in 2008. I'm currently 27, and while undergoing therapy, I remember this experience. For a bit of background, I was born and raised in a small town in Louisiana called Ponchatoula. I'm the eldest daughter of three kids, and while growing up, my mother was a bit of an alcoholic. Granted, she'd been through a lot. After a few failed marriages and a slightly abusive one, it took its toll on her. And looking back, I believe now that she used the alcohol as a coping mechanism. Now, this brings us to the day of the event. My brother and sister had been put to sleep in their rooms by me as my mom had instructed. I remember it was a typical evening. We ate, we had showered, and things for school were done as well. And then it was time to go to bed. However, as I said before, tonight my mom wanted to indulge a bit. She told me, lock the door and don't let anyone in. Granted, we lived in an apartment complex and would get the occasional knocks. It was a sketchy side of town after all. As I locked up, I made sure to check every window and door. I was going to head up to my room, but my mother did forget to do the dishes before she blacked out on the couch. I proceeded to discard her alcohol as I made my way back to the kitchen. As I did this, I kept feeling like someone was watching me, as if eyes were penetrating deep into the back of my head. I glanced around the room, when suddenly I felt my heart sink into my chest. By the window, close to the back door, I noticed it had been opened. I was going to lock that one after the dishes. However, my worst fears became realized when I noticed a hooded figure crouched in the dark, staring at me. The man noticed me and put two fingers up to his mouth, and he said, "Shh." I fled back out into the kitchen, but the man then proceeded to flee out of the window. I immediately closed it and locked the window behind him and tried waking my mother, to no avail, of course. By morning, I informed her, and granted, the man did happen to take a few things. He took a few dollars out of her purse and some cigarettes. Looking back on this event, I'm just thankful that none of us were hurt, but it did scar me, and that is why I wish to share this experience. This story takes place in August of 2017. I'm a 31-year-old male, and I haven't discovered what to actually make of this event, but here it goes. It was a Friday night. I had just gotten off work and things were quite calm. I cooked dinner, and while doing so, I did happen to notice a few ingredients were a tad more depleted than I remember, such as the milk. Further, I ate my dinner and put the leftovers in the fridge and put my keys on the table and headed up the stairs. I had this underlying feeling, though, that someone was watching me, though, and when I heard a creak, I turned around and thought, hey, was that coming from the pantry? I thus went to check it out. As I checked the pantry door, I was going to open it when I get a call from my then girlfriend. I went to answer it, and as we had a nice conversation, I proceeded to head up the stairs, completely forgetting the pantry. After a lengthy conversation, I began to get ready for bed. As I showered, I thought I heard dishes being rattled and footsteps downstairs. I turned off the shower to listen, and immediately the sound stopped. I was becoming suspicious, but chalked it up to me just being paranoid. That was until I heard a glass shatter. I dried off and immediately went downstairs. As I cleaned it up, I believe I was the one who set it too close to the edge, as it was the same one that I had drinking out of earlier. Yet, I didn't remember putting it by the edge of the counter, and my mind began to race. I suddenly noticed my keys, which I had placed on the kitchen table earlier, had disappeared. I looked frantically for them, and then decided to check my CCTV footage. As I entered the room, I locked the door behind me, not feeling safe in my own home. What I saw made my blood run cold. A woman had been in my home. She was all pale and scruffy looking. I'm assuming she was homeless, but she'd been eating my food and was the one that knocked down the glass from earlier. I went to call the police, but I forgot. My phone was in my bedroom. I instinctively armed myself and proceeded to go back up the stairs. It was there that my phone and my keys laid on my bed, along with an open window. And yet again, more episodes of the Recreant Journals will be on the way. This is quite a spectacular month. It's the month of horror and all things dark. Expect more videos. And remember to like, share, and subscribe if you feel I deserve it, here on the Recreant Journals, with your host, the Recreant. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again, remember that fear is everywhere.